is that, and I didn't know this, but apparently AT&T owns CNN.
Yes.
Oh, I heard about
But
that.
AT&T is $150 million in debt, and to help pay down their debt,
They want to sell
due
CNN.
to falling ratings at CNN,
They want to
they're
sell
trying to
it.
sell it for $150 million to Jeff Bezos. So I think that's kind of humorous. All right, so just a couple points I want to hit on. Some others have already talked about them. You know what? Don't be discouraged. Yeah, you know, the numbers vary from day to day. But you know what? I look at it in a couple aspects. And one of those aspects is, as patriots, we have something that most Biden supporters don't have. We have something that most Antifa people don't have. We have something that most BLM people don't have.
Integrity.
We have things called, I don't know, jobs,
Yeah.
lives, family,
Honor.
integrity. The list goes on that we have to commit our time to. And while I'm touching on family, I just want to point out to something to people. All right, and I'm speaking from personal experience. It's great if we can get hundreds and thousands out every day. But you know what? Some things we have to remember is, what's the most important thing in our life?
Our country.
Is our family. We have to make sure our families are taken care of. All right. Yes, we have to. Our country is important too. But you know what? We got to hold on to family because you know what? Who's your support mechanism? Your family. All right. And I'm telling you guys from personal experience. 22 years in law enforcement. 22 years. Thank you. 22 years of being active in the union at every level. Shop steward, as they would call it. President, vice president, treasurer, trustee, and all that. And out of those 22 years in law enforcement, the first 17 years I actively spent fighting corruption within my own department. All right. And now corruption goes beyond, hey, you know what? Give me $50 and I won't write you the ticket. It goes beyond, hey, give us 10% of your drug proceeds and we'll let you keep selling drugs. Corruption goes at many levels. In my county, in former communist California, we called it the good old boy system. What's the good old boy system? Well, it's pretty much what we see going on in Washington and Phoenix and anywhere you have politics involved. And in a nutshell, what good old boy system is, we have this guy, he did something wrong, but you know what? We like him.
What do you do?
So we're just gonna. It's a war of attrition. Never happened. But now, just in case the word gets out or the press finds out about it, okay, well, don't do it again. You have another employee does the exact same thing, but you know what? We don't like him. We're gonna fire him. So that's the type of corruption that I'm talking about. And yeah, it caused me grief. It didn't cause me grief and heartache. It caused them grief and heartache. But on a personal front, it caused me grief and heartache because one day I came home and there's this young man sitting at my table eating my food. I'm like, who the hell's this? And the wife says, oh, that's Jackie's new boyfriend. I'm like, new boyfriend? When'd she ever have a first boyfriend? When'd she get old enough to date? So that's when I started focusing, hey, it's good to be passionate, but sometimes you got to reevaluate, all right? So I just want to put that out there. Don't get discouraged on people who aren't out here because of numbers, because you know what, they could have a myriad of reasons. We heard one the other day, death in the family, medical, so we need to consider that.
Well, I have someone
But the other reason I don't get discouraged by the numbers is because, and I've heard several people say it, make sure you share this, what's going on all these videos and share it, because you know what, I still have family and friends in California. I have friends in these other places like Wisconsin and Michigan. I have friends and family in Texas that when I post this stuff, they're like, God bless you guys. Keep doing it. You know what? We love what you guys are doing. Because you're not just fighting for Arizona, but you're fighting for all of us, right?
Fighting for the union.
So remember that, it's not just us we're fighting for. It's not just our families. We're, the saying, the world is watching the United States right now, where the United States is watching Arizona. So we have to keep up the fight, all right? The next point I want to make is, and please hear me out, don't react, but you know what? Hillary Clinton is a smart woman. No. Hear me out.
Evil genius.
Hear me out.
She is.
Hillary Clinton is a smart woman, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because she told Joe Biden, well, this thing keeps sliding. She told Joe Biden several weeks ago to what? Under no circumstances.
Concede. Not to concede.
Under no circumstances, do not concede the election. Okay, now why did she tell Joe Biden that? Why do you think President Trump's not conceding the election? A couple of reasons. One is Nancy Pelosi and AOC and all these other intelligent people, they were predicting the blue wave. And they were going to, expand their majority in their House. They were going to take over the Senate. All right.
Take over the White House.
I don't know if any of you know this, but not one Republican incumbent lost their bid for re-election to the House, and the Democrats ended up losing seats. And from what I've heard, from what I've seen so far, they lost to women, minorities, and veterans, or a combination thereof. Right? They still have the majority, but that blue wave went away. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. So to help you understand why the Democrats are so pissed off at Nancy and AOC right now with their defund the police agenda and all this, is because they're smart. They realize, oh shit, it backfired on us. Okay, because we all know that, just like 2000, Gore versus Bush. Sorry, tongue tied there. This is going to end up in the Supreme Court.
Gore versus Bush.
And the Supreme Court has, really three options to take. They can say, hey, one, recount the vote, but minus all those unconstitutional mail-in ballots, just like they said in Pennsylvania. If the voters didn't request them, it's unconstitutional. The secretaries of state do not have the authority to alter the election laws of the state. That's up to state legislatures. That's option one, recount. Option two is they could say revote. That's probably not going to happen. But here's the third option. The Supreme Court could say 12th Amendment. And what is the 12th Amendment? It's only been done twice in American history. The election of 1800, the election of 1824. If they cannot determine a winner of the election when the Electoral College meets, then guess what?
They can vote for
It goes to Congress. The senators get to elect a vice president. Each senator gets one vote. That's why it's important we maintain that majority in the Senate for the runoffs.
So close.
The House gets a little bit more tricky, right? Because the president gets to elect the House, the House gets to elect the president. And you say, oh shit, well, the Democrats still control the House.
Yeah, they do.
True, but what the 12th Amendment says is each state gets a vote. Not each representative, but each state gets a vote.
Yes!
And each state must vote along party lines based upon which party is in control of their state legislature.
And who's in control
And the
of
last
states?
time I checked, I believe it's 30 plus state legislatures are controlled by Republicans.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah! Most states
All
are
right,
bad,
baby.
two-thirds.
So, I'll give Nancy props, but you know what? Donald Trump was smart too, right? Now you know why he's not conceding the election. Another reason he's not conceding, and the reason Hillary said, Joe, whatever you do, don't concede the election, is because when the Supreme Court made that ruling in 2000, okay, part of the reason, not the entire reason, not the whole reason, but part of the reason the Supreme Court ruled the way they did in 2000 is because the Supreme Court said, Al Gore, you already conceded on election night, what's your beef?
So
Right?
he gave up, basically.
So that's why it's important that we don't concede, all right? Last point I'm going to make, I'm going to get off the mic, turn over. I think there's music coming up next. All right, guys, you know what? I love coming out here every day. I love seeing people. Every day I meet new people. I'm not saying we're to stop coming out here. But I keep hearing people say, what can we do? What can we do?
Now, what can we do?
Okay, I love coming here because, like I said, it's a great way to network and meet people. But you know what? We need to start, and somebody said today, we need to start expanding our freedom of expression zone. We need to start going out. We need to start taking it to the streets. All right?
Define.
We need to start holding Doug Ducey accountable, the Board of Supervisors accountable, and every state representative and state senator accountable. All right? I saw on the news today where the 4 lone Republicans, because there's only 4 Republicans in Congress from Arizona that flipped the last election. There's 5 Democrats, 4 Republicans. But all 4 Republicans at the federal level said, Arizona, stand up and demand an audit. Not a recount. When you guys are doing this stuff, when you're talking to people, make sure you say audit. Do not
audit.
say recount. It is 2 completely different things, okay? Look at what Georgia did, and President Bush tweeted out about it. Yeah, they're doing a recount in Georgia, but they're not matching the damn signatures. So what good does a recount?
Just counts the votes
Make sure
over.
you say audit, not recount. So you know what? We need to stay active. We need to start going out. You need to start finding groups, okay, that are going to say, hey, you know what? We're going to start holding these people accountable. Another thing we can do it was mentioned by a lady last week, and a gentleman the other day spoke about it. We need to start filling these empty seats on the GOP precinct committees. All right?
Yes.
I don't know if you guys were here when you heard the story, but I'm just kind of trying to remember what he said. But remember, it was the Arizona GOP party in 2016 who censored John McCain. And the vote was like 1,100 and some to censor John McCain for not fulfilling his constitutional duties to the voters of Arizona. And it's 300 and change against. Okay? At that time, the committee precinct people, all positions were pretty much filled throughout Arizona. John McCain was so pissed off that him and his cronies raised $300 million to decimate the GOP committee.
What a bastard.
All right? He wasn't able to get control of it, but he was able to decimate it enough to where, you know, that would never happen to him again.
Wait,
Here
you
we
mean he
are
screwed his own party?
3 years later, and now there's over 1,000 vacancies on these precinct committees. This is why it's important, people. Maybe you're not interested, but find your friend who you know is active in politics. Say, we've got to fill these seats, because you know what? Come to find out, it's these committee people who elect the party leaders, who in turn tell us who we're supposed to vote for in the primaries, in the general election, right? And I don't know about the rest of you, but not only at the state level, but the national level, I'm tired of the Republican Party telling me who we're going to vote for or who I should vote for. We need to start telling state and national GOP who we're going to vote for and who they're going to put on the platform. And the way we do that is we start getting active in these committees. Patriots, I love you all. Keep up the fight.
Yeah!